I've had a lot of people ask me about my personal health care, and I'll tell you, I got diagnosed with this form of bone cancer in 2001, and I can't say it for sure, but I think I had it for at least 2 years before, a year and a half before my legs started hurting. But I thought it was an old injury, a football injury or something, athletic type injury. Um, anyway, I went to jail and I went to prison in New Jersey for for a marijuana charge in December of 2000. But 3 months later, a lump appeared on my leg, a nice sized lump, and I went to the infirmary, try to figure out what it was. Of course, they just wanted to give you an aspirin and tell you go about your business. But luckily, I knew a doctor, and I called the doctor, Dr. Steve Fenichel, and he came in on a regular visit, and I pulled my pant leg up, and I showed him a nice size knot that that had suddenly appeared on my leg. Now, to me, at the very beginning, I didn't associate it with the lack of marijuana, but I do find it amazing that I had this form of bone cancer. I probably had, it was probably growing for at least 2 years before I go to prison. I don't have an intake of marijuana, and it grows rapidly in 3 months to the point where I go get it checked out and this, that, and the other. And I get it cut out. It took about 8 months, but in prison, I had a tumor taken out of my leg. And at some point, I had surgery on my hip where they actually cut my lower abdomen and reached into my hip and scraped bone off the inside of my pelvis. I've had a couple other issues with my shoulders also, but there's all kinds of treatments out there. I pretty much kept most of my issues with my health to myself, but part of my trial in 2012, I basically came out of the cannabis closet, the medical marijuana. My medical marijuana issues had to be front and center so I can explain to my jurors as to why I chose to use marijuana and why New Jersey's medical marijuana or their criminal marijuana laws were wrong. That's all I was saying. The law was wrong. My jury felt it was wrong, and they exonerated me. I was not distributing marijuana, which I think was good. But the underlying problem is I have a real medical condition. I've been traveling back and forth from New Jersey now to California because I'm in an experimental medical program here in Santa Monica that I get once a month, and I've chosen to do that. I could have other programs like I could have surgery again. I've already had surgery. I can show you a couple spots on my body where I've had surgery, and they come back. And if I had surgery again, they would likely come back again. And eventually they make him come back in the wrong spot, like in my head or in my chest or whatever. So right now, I'm not trying to get anything cut out. I'd rather treat it, I don't want to treat it with chemo. People treat these things and things like this with chemotherapy. And that's an aggressive form. And that's not what I want either. This treatment here seems to be working. It's like a bone hardener. It's a drug called denosumab, and hey, this is what I want, and right now this is the only place I can get it. It's part of an experimental protocol, and I'm going to do my best to go back and forth across the country and do this. And I was counting on this charity flight, but hey, what can I say?